ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாம்ப்பா.
மேம் கொடுத்துட்டேன் மேம். வருது மேம்.
ஓகேப்பா. தலை ஸ்டார்ட்டா?
Yes ma'am. Good morning all of you. Now I welcome Dr. K. Balasubhadra ma'am, HOD IT Department, R.M.D Engineering College to give welcome address. Welcome you ma'am.
Thank you, Abrami. A happy morning to all. We are thrilled to welcome you all to the insightful session of Generic Talk series. This is a forum in which we explore the recent engineering technologies and to know the innovation behind it that we are facing today. Generic Talk series is a wonderful initiative taken by our management to have the industry experts, innovators, and talk leaders to share their expertise and experience to all of us. So our mission is to ignite, inspire, educate, and create a space for fruitful discussion that bridges the gap between what we learn and what we can do. And today we are very much excited to bring on to you the 27th Generic Talk series. On behalf of our chairman sir, vice chairman sir, principal, faculty members, and students of R.M.D Engineering College, I welcome you all for the 27th Generic Talk series. Today we are all joined here virtually on R.M.D EC YouTube link for an enlightened session on the topic Unlocking Innovation for Salesforce Development and Lighting Web Governance. Today, we are very much proud to have our distinguished guest, Mr.Ramesh Shanmugam, Technology Architect Manager, Accenture, San Francisco, USA. It is really an unique opportunity for all of us to gain insights from our expert today. I extend my gratitude to our guests for accepting our invitation and going to spend his valuable time to share his knowledge and experience with us. Once again, a hearty welcome to all of you for this Generic Talk series. Thank you.
Thank you ma'am. Now to give a formal introduction of our esteemed chief guest, I would like to invite Dr. R. Jyothalakshmi ma'am, Associate Professor, R.M.D Engineering College, to give welcome address. Welcome you ma'am.
Thank you, Abrami. Good morning, all of you. It's my pleasure to introduce our guest, Mr. Ramesh, a technology architecture manager at Accenture. He is specializing in large-scale Salesforce implementation that transform how organizations deliver services. He began his professional journey as a mechanical engineer with KCP Limited, later transitioning into the field of software as business analyst. With a strong focus on business strategy and technology alignment, he gradually moved to the Salesforce ecosystem, starting as associate developer and advancing through progressive roles to his current leadership position. An alumnus of Vellore Institute of Technology, Ramesh brings together a unique blend of engineering discipline, business acumen, and deep Salesforce expertise. His career trajectory illustrates the value of continuous learning and adaptability, qualities that continue to shape his impact on both technology and people. Today, we are having a wonderful person to deliver the speak about this cloud architecture. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the given opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for the detailed introduction. Now, with great respect and privilege, I will invite our chief guest, Mr. Ramesh Shanmugam, Technology Architecture Manager, Accenture, San Francisco, USA, to address the gathering. To welcome you, sir.
First of all, thank you for having me here. It's a great opportunity. And I'm very excited to speak in front of students. So, hello students, hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I understand, though we are not in the same room, I'm sure that I am speaking with a group of future problem solvers, builders, technologists, architects, and leaders. and I hope you believe so. Let's start the session with a comedy note. What I expect from you in this talk is nothing. Just be relaxed, free up your body muscle, listen to this in a way that you listen to any drama or how you watch a movie. How do you watch a movie? You go to the theater, you scoot your back, and you rest your back. You stretch your legs straight and keep it on top of the seat which is right in front of you, and you rest your leg on the backrest of the front seat, right? Sit in the same way, be relaxed, and listen to it. Let me start with the comedy note. So our life was so simple, right? When we started our education, we went to primary school, then we got graduated, then we moved to sixth grade, and from sixth grade to 12th grade, and to engineering, and from engineering we will go out to find a job. So when we started from a primary school to sixth grade, what was taught to us is we started with basic maths in primary, then we got graduated, then we went to sixth grade. We started learning that our first maths teacher in sixth grade would have taught you about linear equation. That is the first time you see that alphabet, I would say English letters are being used in a mathematics, right? You start with X and Y. At that time, we felt it was a little strange for us. Then somehow we got interested. And then the first day of school, we get back home and we tell our parents, oh, from today, math is going to be something which is close to my heart. I love mathematics because I learned something new. So our first sixth grade teacher started teaching us that life is like a line, a linear equation. It is always straight. It was so simple. Then we moved to higher secondary. That's when we started seeing all these, the entire letters of alphabets are being used, A, B, C, until Z. Then we moved to 11th and 12th grade. They immediately told us that, okay, we have used all the letters in English alphabet. We have to use letters from Latin and Greek. We see a different kind of letters which we are not used to. Life is like that. It is not always a straight line. How many of you remember the basic calculus, differentiation and integration? I'm pretty sure many of you, because you are in engineering. I'm pretty sure you would have learned basic calculus in your 11th and 12th grade. What is differentiation and what is integration? Differentiation is finding the change in curve, right? We tried to find a slope in a straight line. Then we got graduated. Then we worked smoothly towards differentiation. Differentiation is about change in curve, smooth curves. There is no jump, there is no corners, right? If the curve has a sudden jump or a sharp corner, we call it as a V shape, right? Then the derivative doesn't exist at that point. I hope you all remember this concept. If you do not remember this, don't worry, I will come up with an analogy which will be very simple. Why I'm talking about this is very important. And then we learn integration. What is integration? It is opposite of differentiation. We will find the area under the curve, right? It is nothing but adding all those infinite small slices under the curve. It is a combination effect, right? It is like we add up everything. It is a summation of all. So life is like that. Why I'm saying this? We in life have to learn everything on the go. If we try to learn anything, suddenly, completely, we always think that we have to know everything before we start something. That is hitting a sharp corner. The brain can only calculate a smooth rate of progress, otherwise it stalls. Life is also like that. Why I'm saying this? Why do we talk about differentiation and integration? I want to start with a simple thought or a simple idea that shaped my journey. Before we start learning about Salesforce and all the technicalities behind it, what is Salesforce? What is a Salesforce platform? What is the ecosystem of Salesforce? I want to touch upon this. That this has helped me in my career throughout my journey. That you do not have to know everything; you just have to know how to learn. Why I'm emphasizing on this? This simple idea has shaped my career in technology, and I'm sure that, and I believe that it can shape yours too. I'm confident about it. My name is Ramesh. I'm a technology architect manager at Accenture. Most of my work in Salesforce uh, is with Salesforce. Salesforce is a platform that powers digital solution for businesses and governments. In simple terms, it helps us to design a robust system for millions of people to do important things like applying for benefits, renewing their health coverage, applying for food assistance or energy assistance, or connecting with services that they depend on. It is not about the technology, it is about making people life easier, better, simpler. That is what Salesforce is all about. That is how my journey has started. In fact, early in my career, I did not even understand. I had a tough time understanding what an API is or what integration is. But what fueled this journey? How I progressed? It is all my curiosity and willingness to learn. I started step by step. I progressed step by step, project by project. Along the way, I had the chance to lead team across the globe. I have solved integration challenges between old system, when I say old system in software terms, legacy systems and new platform. And I have mentored engineers, not just to write code or debug a complex code, but to grow as leaders. Every hurdle and every challenge pushed me forward. And now I realize something very important. The most valuable skill isn't what you know today, it is how fast you can learn something tomorrow. As an engineering student, you are entering entering into a world of technology where technology evolves faster than you think. What is popular today may not be popular tomorrow, may be outdated in 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years down the line. So, what is my advice to you? My advice to you is always stay curious upon everything. Never stop asking why and how. That is very important. That is sacrosanct for an engineer. Stay adaptable. When I say stay adaptable, what I mean by stay adaptable? Ready to pick up new ideas, new languages, new technologies, new applications, and even new approaches. Always stay humble. And that goes without saying. Be ready to work with others. That is very important in any organization. Teamwork. Ask question. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know. There is nothing wrong in saying I don't know. But make sure that you will say, I will figure it out. This is the mindset that helped me, and this is the mindset that is going to help you. This will carry you further, much farther than you think. So right now you are listening to this talk. I'm pretty sure you'll be thinking about your future. Remember this, the best engineers, I always say this to everybody, the best engineers aren't the one who knows everything. I repeat, the best engineers aren't the one who knows everything. They are the one who, I would say, keep learning, adjusting, unlearn, relearn, and growing. That is what shaped my path. I'm pretty sure that will shape yours too. So at this beginning of this conversation, it is not a conversation, at the beginning of this talk, I spoke about a very important thing, that is, you don't have to know everything, you just need to know how to learn, right? What do I mean by that? Why are we talking about it? You are at a very important phase of your career, right? I'm pretty sure many of you who are listening are maybe first year students, second year students, third year students, and fourth year students. You're going to go out of this college and going to see the world with your very own eyes, and it is going to be completely different. You started from primary school, you entered into engineering, and when you go out, it is again a primary school. You will be treated like a first graders. So what do you expect from you? We don't expect anything from you. It is very simple. We don't expect anything from you. So let's get back to the topic. When I say you don't have to know everything, but you need to know how to learn, what is that? Let me come up with an analogy, okay? Let's say you are standing right in front of a launch pad. A rocket towers above you. You know that, right? Behind it, there is years of preparation, engineers, scientists, thousands of calculations. They calculate every thrust, every degree of turn, every adjustment they make must be mapped out in advance. Do you agree with me? Why do we do that? Because the rocketry is not simple. Because once a rocket leaves the Earth, there is no pulling over, like a car. There is no second chance. One tiny mistake at the time of launch can mean, okay, you miss your destination. If the destination is moon, you will miss the moon by thousands of miles. Is that correct? But life isn't a rocket. It doesn't go as per our plan. It never went as per the plan, at least for me. Life is more like a car. When you get into the car, I'm pretty sure you don't need NASA or ISRO like precision, right? You need a destination. Obviously, there is a steering wheel which help you to adjust along the way. And you need confidence that is always going to be there. With that, you can adjust, you can make minor adjustments, right? Obviously, when you drive, what is going to happen? You miss a turn. I always do. You reroute when you miss a turn, right? And you run into traffic. That is quite obvious in India and US. Traffics move haltingly. So what do you do when you run into traffic? You take a detour. And there are chances there will be a flat tire. That is a kind of, hindrance, right? You pull over, you fix it, and you keep going. You always try to get back on the road. Is that correct? So you listen to this analogy. Now let me ask you a question. Are you trying to be like a rocket, or are you going to live your life like a car? What is this rocket mindset? The rocket mindset is a belief that you think that you must know everything before you even start. I see it all the times because I speak with people from diverse background, students, professionals. I have seen students, I have interacted with students who say, I will apply for a job if I master this programming language, if I master this application, if I master this platform, if I master this technology. And I have seen professionals who hesitate to lead a project, and they always try to prepare for every possible scenarios. What is every possible scenario? You cannot. Maybe you think about yourself. Have you ever said that I will pursue this passion once I have a perfect plan? What is a perfect plan? Is there something called a perfect plan? I have done this myself at the very beginning of my career. There are times I prepare a lot. I try to find every possible answer, come up with every possible plan. There are times I prepare a lot before I get into a meeting with a client. I always spend more time, used to spend more time preparing than actually doing it. When things did not go as planned, it never, I was completely frozen. I do not know what to do. I was completely stuck. That is what is called rocket mindset. Rocket mindset gives us an illusion of control. You think, oh, I have a perfect plan, everything is under control, nothing is going to happen. But in reality, it is making you afraid of mistakes. You have to make mistakes. But if you have this rocket mindset, if you make mistake, that leads to the total paralysis. It will. Here is the truth. In today's world, right? If you wait until you know everything, you will never start. You will never start. And this inaction is the biggest risk of all. You have to throw that rocket mindset away. What is the car mindset? Driving is easy and also messy. It is unpredictable sometimes, right? But it works. It works for everybody. Think of the steering wheel. It represents the ability to learn and adapt and control. You don't need all the answer at the start, but you have the steering wheel, you have the ability to make adjustment. And in the car, I don't know how many of you have car, how many of you use GPS. GPS represents, let's say, it represents the curiosity, and we can also say it is kind of feedback. You may not know the entire journey. You use the GPS, you may not know the entire journey, but you know your destination. But you can always get the direction at every turn, right? We spoke about detour. Detour represent failure. When there is a failure, does that mean the journey is over? No, it doesn't. You're going to continue with your journey. But when there is a failure, the detour, which represents the failure, it just means that the path has changed. And you have fuel in the car. What does the fuel represent? It's motivation, the resilience to keep going. The trip may be harder, but it's not going to stop you. It may be harder than you expected, but you will continue. That is, I would say, that is the power of the car mindset. It, it doesn't avoid mistakes. It expects mistakes. It expects them. It also expects that you can recover, you can learn, you can adjust. Let's talk about a very famous personality. Everybody knows about him, who is the founder of SpaceX, Elon Musk. He is the founder of SpaceX, right? Did he start SpaceX by knowing everything about rocket? I'm pretty sure he is not. How did he start SpaceX, which is something he is not related to, which is so foreign to him? How did he start? Out of passion. But how did he start? He must have read books. I'm pretty sure he must have hired experts. He must have asked them questions. There is no right question or wrong question. He must have asked them questions. And he learned on the go. He was trying to be a rocket and he was driving a car. He wasn't trying to be a rocket. He was driving a car. So why are we speaking about this analogy, rocket and car? Why does this matter so much today? Because I told you the world is changing faster than ever, right? By the time you master one skill, another technology comes along. By the time you perfect one business model, let's say every organization has a business model. The time they perfect a business model, the market is completely shifting. And that business model becomes obsolete. Does that mean that organization is completely out of business or it cannot proceed further? Is it gone? No. What you know today will be outdated tomorrow. So if you have a rocket mindset, waiting to know everything before starting, it is very, very dangerous. You should have the car mindset. Being willing to learn, unlearn, relearn, that makes you unstoppable. I'm pretty sure you will follow this, especially the fourth year students who are going to go out of college, search for a job. This is what you need. Don't worry about anything. Don't think too much about what I learned so far. Don't think I don't have enough time or the time is over. I missed the train. No, there is nothing called missing the train. The life will present you with opportunities again and again and again and again. If it happened to me, it will happen to you as well. People say you missed the train. There is nothing called missing the train in life. Life will present you with opportunities. Be ready to grab that opportunity. If you miss one, another will be presented to you. If you miss another, you will get another chance. But you have to prepare yourself for that opportunity. Always be ready for it. So now let's back to Salesforce. Get back to Salesforce. What is Salesforce? Imagine that you're standing in a line in a government office. I know many people will giggle, right, when I say government office. You are standing in a line in a government office with hundreds of people waiting for hours just to submit one paper application, be it anything, be it your healthcare application, food assistance, or applying for license, be it anything, right? In India or even in US, this has been the reality for many families. At least in India, the progress is faster. In US, it is very, very slow. Now imagine replacing that line with few clicks on your phone. Don't you think it's fast, simple, and available anytime, anywhere? That's where Salesforce comes in. When I first came across Salesforce, I thought it is just another CRM. And just another CRM system, that it is a tool that businesses use to manage customers. But the deeper I went, the more I realized it wasn't just about managing customers' data. It is more than that. It is a platform that could transform how organization can serve people at scale. When I say at scale, what is at scale? Not just one person, but thousands or even millions of people at a time. That is why I call Salesforce as my toolkit, but also my canvas. When I say toolkit and canvas, how do you relate these two? A painter has his own toolkit, which comprises of the whole caboodle, right? Let's say the painting brush, the paint. I'm not a painter, so I cannot come up with all the tools that he uses. I do not know many names, but obviously every painter uses painting brush and a canvas to paint the picture, right? Similarly, as a toolkit, Salesforce gave me everything that I needed, right from APIs to automation to AI and cloud services to build strong solutions to organizations and businesses. As a canvas, it gave me the space to imagine and design something better, robust, that can actually touch people's lives and make it better and easier. That is what Salesforce is. You obviously listened to this word when I started about Salesforce. I said Salesforce ecosystem plus Salesforce platform. Why we call it as a Salesforce ecosystem? Why we call it as a platform? It is called an ecosystem because Salesforce isn't a single product. It comprises of many things. It comprises of all the interconnected world of tools, services, communities, the whole caboodle. It works together like a living ecosystem, the world we live in. Everything is connected. Most of you watched the Avatar movie, right? The first part. Everything is interconnected. The same way, everything is interconnected here. There are few things when we touch Salesforce, we have to talk about few things. Those few things are the platform and clouds, and app exchange and extensions. And we should talk about is integration capabilities and Salesforce as community, and it as learning. They call it as trailhead. And it evolves, and it doesn't evolve alone. It is a shared evolution. When I say core platform and the clouds, what do I mean by core platform? Salesforce started as a CRM, but now it has multiple clouds with it. Sales cloud, service cloud, marketing cloud, healthcare cloud, financial cloud. There are many clouds. You name it, we have it. Every one serves different purposes. It solves different business needs, but it still connect to the same core platform. We will talk about what the platform is. It is too early to talk about it. Everything is connected to the same core platform. And I said App Exchange and extensions. What is App Exchange? App Exchange, think of your phone. App Exchange is similar to App Store. Independent partners, Salesforce has huge number of partners. Accenture is the number one partner of Salesforce. I don't know if you know about it or not. Accenture is the number one partner of Salesforce. And then comes Deloitte and so many other companies. Salesforce has many independent partners, build apps that plug into Salesforce. It is just like adding a new species to the ecosystem, right? They make the platform so diverse and it is so adaptable. So adaptable. If there is no App Exchange, we all will be in trouble, especially companies like us. And it has a fantastic integration capabilities. It, as I said, it doesn't live in isolation. It integrates with many ERPs, databases, APIs, and many third-party systems and third-party apps as well. That is why it is not just like doesn't work like a single organism. Instead, it is a whole ecosystem. And Salesforce as community, we have Trailblazer group, developer forum, and we have partner groups, partner networks. We have user groups. It is like a social media, social life. That is the social life of the ecosystem. And this community, this group, which helps the Salesforce to thrive by continuously not only the ecosystem, the people depend on Salesforce, Salesforce depend on people. They continuously grow using that knowledge and skill. And I said it evolves, right? Salesforce does 3 updates a year, like 3 releases. It pushes tons of capabilities. So it is always, somebody can say, okay, I want to get into Salesforce and let me go learn every A to Z of Salesforce. It is impossible. Believe me, it is impossible. You can keep your finger on the plus of latest development, but learning everything and mastering Salesforce, no, there is nobody in this world who can say I know everything about Salesforce, because there are tons and tons of information. There are millions of documents that exist in Salesforce. If you read one document a day, it will take millions of days. I don't think any person can survive millions of days, right? That is what Salesforce is. What is Salesforce architecture? We spoke about Salesforce. We had a general talk about Salesforce. What is Salesforce architecture? Imagine that you are building a house, okay? I don't know if there are any civil engineers here, but you build a house. How do you build a house? Do you start with kitchen? Do you start with living room? No. You need a plan. You will start with the foundation. You need a strong foundation. You need a strong structure. Then you build everything on top of that layer, right? Salesforce work the same way. It is like a cake, layered cake, right? there will be a cake at the bottom and then a cream cake at the bottom, on top of it, cream cake on top of it. So it is like a layered cake. The base supports everything on the top. The base is the Salesforce architecture, the platform. We call it a Salesforce platform. Every layer that you add on the top adds the flavor and the power. We will talk about whether we can alter the platform or not in a bit, but this is what Salesforce platform is all about. It is a layered architecture. You can build anything on top of the platform that gives the power, flavor, and everything. What is Salesforce architecture? What is Salesforce? It's a cloud company, right? Everything runs in a trusted multi-tenant cloud. That means multi-tenant cloud. When I say multi-tenant cloud, what is multi-tenant cloud? Let's say you are living in an apartment building, not an apartment building. It consists of many apartments, right? Every one of them share the same building. It means many customers share the same infrastructure. The most important thing is securely. They share the same infrastructure securely, but each one sees only their own data. They cannot see somebody else. And then if I can see somebody else's data, if Accenture can see Deloitte's data and Deloitte can see Accenture data, it is a complete breach of trust. That leads to a lot of litigations. It will put us in a, it is like throwing the baby with the bath water. The architecture is designed in such a way that though it is a multi-tenant architecture, it is designed in such a way that it is designed for speed, security, and flexibility, irrespective of whether you're a small business or a big business. Doesn't matter. Business get all these three: speed, security, and flexibility. Everybody will enjoy the same amount of speed, security, and flexibility. So business can customize without starting from scratch. They don't have to build a platform. If they are building a community, if they are building a unified portal, they don't have to start anything from scratch. They can build it on the top of platform. So, and also Salesforce is metadata centric. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of engineers here with IT background from IT department, right? What is metadata? You must have learned about metadata. What is metadata? Metadata is about data about data. Do you agree with me? Data about data. That metadata tells Salesforce how Salesforce should behave. I mean, how every field should behave, object should behave, layout and automation should behave. Because in Salesforce, everything is metadata driven. Do you believe or not? I don't know if you believe or not. With help of Salesforce, if you are an admin, you can configure an app without writing a single piece of code. That is what Salesforce recommends. Low code or no code. But in current scenario, that is totally impossible because every organization comes out with requirement that is very difficult to achieve unless otherwise we use code. There it requires a lot of customization. But Salesforce recommends low code. So I spoke about you can build apps without using code. What does developer do? Developer can extend functionalities with API and code. That is the part of developer. And your customization survives on Salesforce no matter what. Even I spoke about releases, right? There are 3 releases a year. What happens to your customization if something goes wrong? Nothing will happen. Salesforce will take care of it. The release, they will let you know what are they releasing so that you can be ready for the change. So we spoke about Salesforce platform. We spoke about Salesforce architecture. And I told you that everything sits on top of the Salesforce architecture on the platform, right? Can we alter the architecture? We always have a mindset, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? Can we alter the architecture that Salesforce has? The answer is simple, that you cannot alter the architecture. We cannot at any point alter the architecture. You can redesign. Do you think you can redesign? Architecture is the core layer of Salesforce. You cannot redesign the core layer of Salesforce. That part is controlled by Salesforce itself. Because we are doing the customization, we are writing our code, everything exists on the multi-tenant cloud, multi-tenant driven network. Underlying infrastructure, on top of that basic infrastructure. You can extend on the top of that infrastructure, but you cannot alter the core platform. Salesforce has many layers. It has customization layer, integration layer, and a few other layers. Let's go one by one. What is customization layer? I told you, right? You can customize on top of Salesforce platform. You can use code. You can use automation flows, process builder. So there are so many other things. These are related to automation. What sits on customization layer? Custom objects, fields, page layouts, flow, process builder, and the code you write Apex code, which is proprietary of Salesforce, and any UI changes that you make. I don't know if you heard about this or not. When she gave the introduction, she said she used the word called Lightning Web Component. That is the UI, Lightning Web Component. Anything that you do, any piece of JavaScript code you write, any Apex code that you write, that sits on top of the Salesforce platform. And it has integration layer. You can pull and push data. We use APIs of different type. We use SOAP, REST, bulk, streaming APIs to connect to the external system. And it is not always point-to-point communication. Sometimes we use middleware as well. Middleware or integration platform, like, I don't know if you learned about MuleSoft, Informatica. These are all middlewares. These can be plugged in. So when I spoke about API, right? What is API? API is application programming interface, right? It allows different pieces of software or application to connect to each other and exchange information. In simple terms, you have a laptop. You have different ports in your laptop, right? What does those ports do? That is the hardware version of an API. Let's take the case of very commonly used port, USB-C port. Many of us plug our phone, connect our phone to computer through USB-C port, right? What it does, it passes information from your phone to computer, from computer to phone, and also it helps you to transmit the power between these two. That is a very basic example of hardware API. Salesforce has different APIs. API also works, software APIs also work in a similar pattern. You connect your app with the other system where exchange of information happen. And we call this as, there are different type of API, communication happens. We call it as callouts. When we call an external system from Salesforce, we call it as callout. And there is also something where we expose our services to the external systems. So this is what API is all about. And we also have platform services, which is very complicated. I don't think it is of any use talking about it, but platform services deals with instant AIs, big data sets, and so on and so forth, security and identities, and so on and so forth. But that is not very important for you as a fresh graduate who's going to go out of college. But obviously, if you learn about Salesforce, focus on the object model. What is an object? What is OOPS? How to write an Apex code? Try to understand what an API is, because I interview a lot of freshers who come out of college. I call them ensign fresh engineers, right? When you join the US military, they call them as ensign fresh. So you are just like that. You come, we ask you some very basic questions. We don't expect too much out of you, because you move from primary to 12th grade to engineering, and engineering to again to primary. You will learn as you go. And there are limitations. We spoke about multi-tenant architecture. In Salesforce, there are limitations. You should be aware of those limitations. We call those limitations as governor limits. You can't change the fact that it is a multi-tenant architecture. So everybody is depend on that architecture. Everybody should get a fair share. That is why the governor limit exists, to make sure one customer doesn't impact another. So when you learn about Apex, the very important concept is governor limits. You have to write your code keeping governor limits in mind. I do a lot of code reviews every day. I go through thousands and thousands, and I would say, if 1,000 is exaggeration, at least hundreds of lines of code every day. At least I engage with 7 or 8 developers every day from India, at least 2 or 3 on onshore. I go through code, I do code reviews. So the main thing that I should think about when I do the code review, I have to see, is there anything in the code that will exceed the governor limit? In Salesforce, there are many exceptions. One obvious exception is 101 exception. Wherever you go, you take a Salesforce interview, if you say that you learned about Salesforce, they will ask you, what is 101 exception? It's a query limit. You will learn about it. So the governor limit is sacrosanct, and we cannot do anything about it. We have to abide by it is like a constitution. Can anybody alter a constitution? Let's take the Constitution of India. You are a prime minister. Can you alter the Constitution of India? No. It is the bedrock on top of which laws are written. You cannot alter the bedrock. The governor limits you cannot alter. Since it is a multi-tenant architecture, you have to abide by the rules of and regulations of Salesforce. What other things you should know about Salesforce if you start your career as a Salesforce developer? There are two important things as a developer you should know. One is Apex, and another is LWC. What is Apex? Apex is a Salesforce proprietary language. Like Java is for Oracle, Apex is for Salesforce. Apex, if you know Java, it is easy to understand Apex. Apex uses Java-like syntax and act like a database stored procedures. Listen carefully to these terms, okay? This will help you at the time of interview. It helps developer to add business logic to system events, such as a button click, or when a record update happens, when a record is inserted, or when some interaction, some event is happening through Visual Force pages. When I said Visual Force pages, right? This is a legacy in Salesforce. You don't have to actually learn about Visual Force pages, but understand there is something called Visual Force pages. You'll be using it, but you don't have to actually code it. When we say it is Salesforce is an object-oriented programming language, right? It means it follows the same principles you would find in Java and C# and so on. What do I mean by oops? Apex support classes, Apex support interfaces, and Apex support inheritance. These are all known jargons to you. But if you are not sure about this, don't worry. It's not the end of the world. You can learn about it. What is a class? A class is a blueprint for creating an object. It bundles together, I would say, variables and methods, right? So in other term, a class is a user-defined data type. An object is an instance of a class. So what is an interface? Can we call an interface as a promise or an agreement or a contract? I'm sorry. So yeah, you need to know about classes, what is a class, what is the interface, and what is inheritance. And also Apex is strongly typed. What is strongly typed? It means the compiler, I mean, it is not whatever the code that you write, right? It will be it will not be verified at the time of compilation. When you save it, the compiler checks the types references before the code is even allowed to run. So we call Salesforce as Salesforce is strongly typed. So apart from this, you have to learn about JavaScript. I mean, if you know vanilla JavaScript, it is good. But LWC is based on JavaScript. We call it as LWC is especially built on modern web standards. I don't know if you're aware of this or not. ES6 JavaScript, HTML templates, and Shadow DOM. I don't know if you heard about DOM. These are the important concepts that you have to understand. ES6 JavaScript, we call it as ECMAScript JavaScript. I believe it is 2014, 15, or 16. I'm not sure. You have to Google it. It is based on ECMAScript 2014 or 15. Just check it out. It is a modern version of JavaScript where it allows functions, arrow functions, classes, templates, template literals, and modules, and so on and so forth. Why are we using LWC? LWC, since it is written using modern features, your code will be cleaner and more powerful compared to the old JavaScript. Before LWC, there was something called ARA. ARA is an old, it's a Salesforce proprietary, I would say, a programming language. Now we are using LWC. Before it was ARA components. And they usually mean different layer of technology that ARA sits on. ARA isn't just, it is not just one thing, it is a framework that pulls everything together. There are several stacks in ARA that makes up to Salesforce component model. It is like a multiple floor, multiple level. It serves a totally a different purpose. It has if you take off ARA, it has a markup stack, which is nothing but HTML and ARA markups, and it has style stack, which is nothing but CSS, which has a client-side logic stack, which is mainly JavaScript controller and helper, server-side stack, which is your Apex controller, and it has event handling stack. ARA uses event-driven architecture. So this is all about ARA, and LWC is completely different. It has HTML templates, CSS, where you write the styles, and it has JavaScript. We spoke about JavaScript, ES6, right? ECMAScript. And it is a very reactive system. It is, it has a core reactive core. Whatever properties you declare, there are decorators. We call it as decorators. We call it as track and API decorators. So this is all about Salesforce. Okay, it has event system. It has server interaction. We call it as with Apex when we use @wire, which calls the Apex method, and that is how LWC is connected with the Apex that is on the server side. So you have to how you learn about all these things, right? That is also very important. The more how you learn it, Salesforce, you don't have to learn anything. There is no, you don't have to buy any books. It is like there is something called Trailhead in Salesforce. You go to trailhead.salesforce.com. I repeat, Trailhead. I put it in the chat. Trailhead.salesforce.com. You log into trailhead.salesforce.com. you sign up. There are filters where you can go, look for PD1, that is Platform Developer 1 certification preparation. It is a very interactive one. It is like playing a video game. You have all the information there, which is more than enough for you to understand what Salesforce is, what Apex is, what LWC is. I hope that you will try this trailheads. It is just like playing a video game. It is very easy. This is more than enough. When you come out of college, if you practice this trailhead, there are many trailheads there. Find a simple one, simple modules, play with those modules, create your own playground, play with those modules. That will help you to learn what Salesforce is. Before I end this end this talk, thank you all once again for giving me this opportunity to speak with you today about Salesforce. Public speaking is always a two-way gift, right? I get to share my journey and ideas, and in turn, I walk away with inspired energy from students and whoever is listening to this. It is helping both the ways. You can always contact me at ramesh.rkdp83@gmail.com for any career guidance, preparing for interviews, diving deeper into Salesforce. You can always reach me out. I'm happy to support you. I will be glad to support you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your insightful and inspiring section, sir. I am sure that everyone gained valuable takeaways from your talk, sir. Now I call upon Mr. D.S. Deepika ma'am, Assistant Professor, IT Department, R.M.D. Engineering College, to deliver a vote of thanks. Welcome you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of R.M.D. Engineering College, I would like to sincerely thank Mr. Ramesh for taking the time to deliver such an insightful session as a part of Generic Talk series. Today's talk, you don't have to know everything, just need to know how to learn, along with a deep dive into Salesforce and Lightning Web Component LWC, gave our students not just a technical awareness but also a mindset for continuous learning. The way Mr. Ramesh connected the real world industry application, the evolution of Salesforce technology, and practical tips for staying relevant in a fast changing tech landscape was both informative and inspiring. I also extend my gratitude to our management, principal, HODs, faculty members, and all the students who actively supported and participated in the today's session. A special word of appreciation goes to everyone who worked behind the scene to make this event possible. Thank you all once again and wishing you a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Deepika.
sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Shall-
sir.
Thank
Shall we
you.
stop? Thank
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
sir.